Before we begin, it is important to define what is meant by Earth-like. An Earth-like planet is not necessarily known to be habitable. Rather, it is simply a planet that has a size, mass, and composition similar to our home planet. Furthermore, it must also orbit within its star's habitable zone, as the Earth finds itself near the middle of the Sun's habitable zone. Since Earth is the only world we know of to have life, it makes sense to search for similar planets around other stars. So back to the question, how many Earth-like planets are in the universe? I don't know the answer, and I believe nobody can know it. What we do know is that based on measurements of portions of the sky and extrapolation, there are about 100 billion stars in our galaxy, and up to 10 trillion galaxies in the universe. That means up to 1 septillion stars. About 7.6% of those stars are Class G stars, like our Sun. That means there are up to 76 sextillion stars similar to ours, and almost all of them have some form of planets. Based on the Kepler observations, it is now estimated that a quarter of those stars have at least one rocky planet similar in size to the Earth and in the habitable zone. That means there are up to 19 sextillion stars similar to ours, with at least one planet similar to Earth. We haven't been to any of those stars to see if they have solar systems like ours, but we have been studying a tiny portion of the sky using the Kepler telescope. Kepler doesn't allow us to see planets around faraway stars visually, but it allows us to detect changes in the light coming from those stars caused by planets passing in front of the star. Over its lifetime, Kepler has confirmed the existence of over 4,000 planets, and 55 of those planets could be Earth-like. Remember, we only discovered the first exoplanets, worlds orbiting stars besides our own, in the 1990s. It's impressive how many distant worlds scientists have uncovered in such a short time from then to now. Kepler 186f. Kepler 186f was the first Earth-sized planet found orbiting within its star's habitable zone, or Goldilocks zone, the area where liquid water, as opposed to water vapor, could exist on a planet's surface. An orbiting planet can't be too hot or too cold in order for liquid water to be present. Kepler 186f was the fifth planet discovered around its star, a dim red dwarf 500 light-years from Earth, with a mass 0.48 times that of the Sun. Kepler 186f orbits its star every 129.2 days at a distance of 53.2 million kilometers. It receives only 32% of the amount of light that Earth receives from the Sun, but water could exist in a liquid state if its atmosphere has sufficient amounts of carbon dioxide. The other 4 planets in the system are Earth-sized. However, they orbit much closer to the star, and thus are not within the habitable zone. Kepler 186f is far enough away from its star that it may not be tidally locked, meaning its day may not be as long as its year, with one side always facing its star. Many planets have been identified orbiting within their star's habitable zone before Kepler 186f was discovered, but they were all at least 40% larger than the Earth. In contrast, Kepler 186f has a radius just 1.11 times that of Earth. This small Earth-like size is important, as it's the smaller planets that tend to be rocky, with terrain that could potentially support trees, plants, and land for living. Earth-sized planets also tend to have lighter, more breathable atmospheres. In contrast, large planets such as Jupiter and Saturn often have atmospheres filled with inhospitable gases like hydrogen and helium. Kepler 452b. Kepler 452b is the most Earth-like planet ever discovered in terms of surface temperature and distance to the Sun, a place with just enough sunlight to possibly support the crops and house plants of life forms like ourselves. So what makes the planet 1,400 light-years away from us so great? NASA calls it Earth 2.0 for a reason. It's a Goldilocks planet, meaning it sits in the habitable zone of its star, where the temperatures are not too hot or cold for liquid water to form. Kepler 452's appearance is similar to Earth, having an atmosphere, water, and land. Similar to how the Earth has a sun, Kepler 452b orbits around Kepler 452, a star 6 billion years old, which is quite old in comparison to the solar system's sun, aged 4.5 billion years. But Kepler 452 has around the same temperature as the sun, which can support the idea that Kepler 452b can still harbor life. The next essential element that needs to be considered when talking about life is water. Last year, water was discovered on Mars. This was a huge discovery because it hints that Mars once supported life. But Kepler 452b is an exceptionally unique case because it has lakes, rivers, and pools. There were once oceans, but unfortunately all of them have dried up. Unlike Mars, the atmosphere might be actually breathable. The air on Mars is 100 times thinner than that of Earth, compared to Kepler 452b, where the air is quite similar to that of Earth. However, this topic is still in debate because we do not know what is in the air, especially if there is something more dangerous in it than Earth's nitrogen and oxygen. The temperature on Kepler 452b is slightly warmer than Earth, but is still as livable as a warm day on Earth. The appearance, as mentioned, is almost exactly the same. The majority of the outside view is blue, indicating water with patches of land. Both orbit around a star that is roughly the same temperature and has clouds. TRAPPIST-1. Located about 40 light-years away, the TRAPPIST-1 system has quickly, and rightfully, garnered a lot of interest. Not only do all 7 planets in the system appear to be Earth-sized and rocky, but 3 of them are located in the habitable zone of their star. While liquid water could theoretically pool on TRAPPIST-1 E, F, and G, the other planets are probably too close or too far from their sun to be in this Goldilocks zone. While TRAPPIST-1 hosts some interesting prospects, its planets are not Earth's long-lost twins. Some research based on computer modeling suggests even the habitable TRAPPIST-1 planets may have developed like Venus, making them too hot to host water. TRAPPIST-1e may be the only planet in the system still hospitable to life, but without more data, it's impossible to confirm. Alright, it is important to note that scientists have only observed a fraction of the number of stars in the Milky Way. Earth-like worlds may not be as common as other planets, but the sheer number of stars in the Milky Way suggests there could still be a vast number of potentially habitable worlds. Based on data from Kepler and other planet-hunting telescopes, astronomers estimate there could be anywhere from 300 million to upwards of 40 billion Earth-like worlds in the Milky Way. If even just a fraction of those planets develop the conditions necessary for the existence of life, there would still be millions of planets in our galaxy alone that are home to living things.